as you get older,
Yep.
you have to look at things in a different way.
Mm-hmm. I'm keeping my fucking hands up.
I'm not reaching for no gun, bro. Can I move my phone?
Might unlock all kind of strip clubs in Omaha. We don't know. This is musty. This is disgusting at the highest level.
Floyd Mayweather has just thrown another jab at Terence Crawford after his traffic incident, and it was harsh. Commenting on Crawford's recent celebration that spiraled out of control, Mayweather mocked the way the Omaha native presented himself after defeating Canelo Alvarez. If a victory over Canelo makes Crawford believe he owns boxing, what would happen if he had beaten greater fighters like Manny? Mayweather remarked. He argued that every boxer understands his limits. And Crawford's triumph, something Mayweather had managed easily years back, left him overly thrilled because in Floyd's opinion, he simply does not belong on the same level.
Check yourself. Another point. Floyd Mayweather, he don't carry no guns. Floyd don't carry guns.
That criticism did not remain inside the ring. Mayweather also pointed at Crawford's troubles away from boxing, highlighting the fighter's latest encounter with Omaha police. It's both regrettable and embarrassing, Floyd stated, stressing that instead of ending up in headlines like this, Crawford should have been with his family, celebrating his win and his position in history.
A lot of comparisons between Terence Crawford and Floyd Mayweather. We've even had the conversation to go as far as who would win in the fight between Terence and Floyd, and I truly don't know the answer to that question.
I do.
You do?
Yes.
Yeah. Who will win that fight?
Floyd.
Floyd will win that
yes,
fight.
Yes, sir. I love you, Terence.
Always figures it out.
Yeah, he's a chess master. Yeah, his IQ in that sense is crazy.
The headlines Floyd referred to started surfacing early this morning in downtown Omaha. Just hours earlier, the city held a major parade honoring Crawford for his victory over Canelo. Crawford, fresh off one of the most significant wins of his career, stood as the centerpiece of the celebration. But before the night ended, the mood completely shifted. As per the Omaha Police Department, shortly before 1:30 a.m., officers in the downtown district saw a vehicle driving recklessly near North 12th Street and Capitol Avenue. They initiated a stop on Cass Street. 4 individuals were inside the vehicle, including Crawford himself. Another passenger was his chief of security, Qasim Shabazz.
I'm not reaching for no gun, bro. Step out. Can I move my phone?
Bug Crawford being harassed by cops and pulled over by the cops right after the parade. This is diabolical.
Police released a statement later that day detailing their version of events. They explained that while officers spoke with the driver, one officer noticed a loaded firearm on the driver's side floorboard. For safety, all 4 passengers were ordered out of the car at gunpoint. After identification checks, the driver was verified as Terence Crawford. He was given a citation for reckless driving. The statement also mentioned the weapons found inside the vehicle. It confirmed that one of the passengers, identified as a member of Crawford's security detail, was carrying a licensed gun. The department emphasized that all 4 occupants were legally allowed to carry firearms.
Once they had stopped, Crawford was identified as the driver. According to police, officers observed a firearm on the floorboard on the driver's side. All 4 people, including members of Crawford's security team, were ordered out of the vehicle at gunpoint. I spoke with the head of Crawford's security this afternoon, who says he's still shaken up.
Fans who had cheered him at the parade just earlier were then watching the same champion placed in handcuffs on Cass Street. Many voiced disappointment, saying the night robbed Omaha of what should have been a weekend of pride. Others directly blamed Crawford, accusing him of reckless driving and irresponsible decisions. Local station KV quoted an officer present at the scene who stated the firearm was noticed when Crawford bent down for his papers, including license and registration.
Bro, I got a crazy clip to show you guys right now. But isn't that a policeman holding a gun to the 3-time undisputed world champ Terence Bud Crawford's head? What did he do that was so bad that you had to pull him over?
The officer clarified that as Crawford leaned forward, the weapon was visible by his feet. That sight triggered the command to order all occupants out at gunpoint. Based on the same account, everyone inside the vehicle was handcuffed until matters were resolved. During the stop, Crawford could be heard making it clear he was not reaching for the weapon. He lifted his hands, insisting he was cooperating.
That was a nightmare. You know, future husband, just had a brand new child and, you know, children and, you know, and stuff like that. And to know that I almost lost my life last night because we had a police officer that don't know how to articulate a traffic stop.
That claim was later backed by his head of security, Qasim Shabazz, who offered his own side of events. He rejected the officer's account outright. According to Shabazz, Crawford never reached for documents because he did not have them on him. Shabazz explained Crawford had already told the officer that his license and registration had been left at home. He had made that clear, leaving no reason to reach for anything, Shabazz said. He added that both he and Crawford disclosed at the very beginning of the stop that they were armed as required under Nebraska law. Yet, even after being upfront, the encounter still escalated. Bud said, "I have a firearm, too." The officer beside him went wild, totally unhinged. He shouted, "Hands up! Out the car! Don't reach! Don't move!" But there was never any weapon being touched, Shabazz recalled. "We thought we were going to die, man."
I'm not reaching for no gun, bro. Can I move my phone?
You telling me the police at Omaha don't know who Terence Crawford is? Putting a gun in his face? Ridiculous.
Shabazz also contested the reckless driving accusation. He said Crawford directly questioned the officer on whether radar had been used. According to Shabazz, the officer admitted no radar was applied. "Then how do you know I was speeding if you didn't clock it?" Crawford asked. As per Shabazz, he claimed to have filmed the exchange, capturing the officer saying on camera, "I cannot. I admit I don't have radar."
In Omaha, after receiving the keys to the city? Huh? Hey, yo, that cop gotta be some hater, bro. Hey, yo, that's like the NYPD holding Derek Jeter on gunpoint and arresting him after the Yankee championship parade in New York City, bro. It doesn't make sense. It wouldn't even happen, bro. It wouldn't even happen. So this cop gotta be some hater.
That contradiction between the official account and Shabazz's testimony further fueled debate. Crawford's team pointed to Shabazz's remarks as proof the stop was mishandled. Others argued that regardless of radar, reckless driving could still be judged by observation. Shabazz described the scene in the car as tense and terrifying. All 4 passengers, including him, were handcuffed during the stop. He said the escalation was unnecessary, especially after they had declared their weapons and tried to comply. At Crawford's request, a police lieutenant and supervisor were called to the scene. Their arrival oversaw the remaining interaction until the citation was finalized.
I think we should just let the man enjoy his great moment. He's a great fighter. And I see a lot of immature stuff, and I don't like the way things is going with.
By that time, however, video circulating online had already shaped the story. Fans debated whether officers overreacted or if Crawford had placed himself in a bad situation. Some considered it a stain on what had been a historic day for Omaha. Others echoed Mayweather's remarks, saying a fighter like Crawford should not be involved in such incidents. The Omaha police leadership swiftly addressed the matter. Chief Todd Schmaderer ordered an internal review of officer conduct. Mayor John Ewing confirmed his support, saying both he and the chief were aware of the viral video. The inquiry will examine whether proper protocol was followed once a firearm was seen and when passengers were ordered out at gunpoint. But they still approached with guns drawn.
But they come up with guns drawn.
Wow, he had his gun drawn. Here's what TMZ wrote. Terence Crawford ordered out of the car by a cop holding a gun on a video. It says Terence Crawford was forced out of a car at gunpoint by police officers with tense exchange caught on video, and it's leading to an internal investigation.
The only official charge Crawford faced was reckless driving. Police reiterated that all firearms in the vehicle were legal and no further charges would follow. The sharp contrast between the daytime celebration and the late-night stop became the main story of the weekend. Omaha residents who had lined the streets earlier were now reading headlines about their champion being pulled from his car at gunpoint. On social media, comments showed shock. Some fans wrote it was the craziest 24 hours for a hometown star. Others accused police of targeting Crawford, while critics insisted he should have avoided being on the road late at night altogether.
Investigation, but the damage is already done, my guy. The damage is already done. I'll be surprised if Terence Bud Crawford comes back to the city just disrespectful to the face of boxing. Not saying that the man's above the law, but Lord child, what was y'all doing? Gunpoint?
Mayweather has only fueled more controversy in the discussion by framing the stop as proof of what separates their careers. According to Floyd, legacy is built not just on victories but also on the choices a fighter makes when the spotlight shines brightest. In his eyes, Crawford spoiled his own celebration by winding up in handcuffs on the very night he was being honored.
Mayweather, I thought, took on some pretty tough 154-pounders and it was in a young Canelo and a very tough Cotto who was punching very hard from 4 to 54. You know, remember Cotto had knocked out Delvin Rodriguez at 54. He'd still done some damage at 54, and I thought
won a title at 60.
Yeah, and I thought he knocked out Martinez at 60, and I thought he gave Mayweather a pretty good fight at 54. I don't
know. Crawford's team has remained silent except for a brief statement. His spokeswoman confirmed on Sunday evening that he would give no comment. No additional response has come from him or his camp about the citation, police statements, or Shabazz's version. For now, the internal affairs review continues. The citation remains. Even as things between Floyd and Crawford intensify, the wider boxing world hasn't stayed silent. Everyone has their own take on it. And with names this big, it's no surprise that legends, analysts, and promoters are adding their voices.
I don't go off of that. You know, Floyd is the best fighter, you know, in his era, and I feel like I'm the best fighter in my era.
Oscar De La Hoya, never one to sit out a Mayweather debate, made his stance clear. He basically laughed at the idea that Crawford's victory over Canelo puts him anywhere near Floyd. For Oscar, that comparison doesn't make sense. He reminded people that Mayweather fought Canelo when he was younger, fresher, and supposedly the bigger challenge, yet Floyd made him look like a novice. Crawford, meanwhile, had to go 12 rounds and grind for the win. That's why Oscar insists the gap between them isn't close. In his view, Mayweather was already a king before Canelo even entered the ring with him.
I knew that. I said it. But Saudi kept saying, "Oh, them, keep boxing, keep boxing."
Does anybody know where Bo is?
Is he in the locker room?
Crawford's greatness, on the other hand, comes from changing styles mid-fight, adapting to anything, and wearing opponents down in ways rarely seen. Kellerman's view leaned more toward appreciating both kinds of greatness rather than choosing sides. He called it two different peaks that happened to follow one another.
That's using what he got to shield him. He got a lot of security guards around him, and he's in the limelight and stuff like that. But in certain situations, he wouldn't be acting like that.
Do you like him as a fighter, though?
Yeah, he's a damn good fighter.
Yeah.
But like his core personality and his ways. Nah.
Then there's Bernard Hopkins. Hopkins didn't hold back. He praised Crawford, said he's as sharp as anyone now, but reminded people of something Crawford hasn't yet faced, Mayweather's psychological advantage. Hopkins explained that fighting Floyd wasn't just about punches. It was about dealing with someone who made you question yourself every round. He even suggested part of Crawford's excitement may stem from never having faced someone who could strip away all his tools. To Hopkins, that's the difference between good, great, and legendary.
Floyd Money Mayweather. Why is that the option? Well, for a few reasons. One, because Floyd doesn't like anybody being called the best while he's still living. So that's number one. Number two, they have been compared to each other since the fight. Because Canelo Alvarez says, well, you know, I think he's better than Floyd. So now they're starting to get...
Mike Tyson, however, sees it differently. Tyson, who is already preparing to step into the ring with Floyd, said, "This is exactly the kind of buzz boxing needs, where fans won't stop talking, media won't stop speculating, and the sport feels larger than life for a while." Tyson even hinted that since Mayweather is still doing exhibitions, nothing is off the table. He said, if Floyd's already in the gym, why not think about Crawford?
To the right guy. You know what I mean? He lost it to Terence, fan square, and he passed the torch. So, if you're going to have another fight, cool, but you don't need to. You have nothing. He has nothing to prove. You know, he fought Terence and nobody else would.
Analysts also point to the difference in marketability, Floyd's charisma ability to play both hero and villain, and
for Tyson, the point wasn't records or risk. It was about delivering fans the type of event that makes everyone pause. And that's the bigger picture. This whole debate goes beyond Crawford and Mayweather trading shots. It has taken a life of its own. Promoters are involved, networks are watching, and fans are dividing into camps, all speculating on whether these two icons could meet in the ring.
But, you know, why do something when something else is working?
Easy answer.
Jeff Mayweather, on the other hand, defended Floyd by stressing the context often overlooked in these comparisons. By the time Floyd fought Canelo, he was already past his physical peak.
On the other side, Hearn has been poking holes in the talk, saying Crawford's resume still doesn't compare with Floyd's and cautioning fans not to crown him too quickly. But even as Hearn plays skeptic, a louder buzz is running through the sport. Crawford is finally free to face whoever he wants. No promotional ties holding him back, while Mayweather, as always, does whatever suits him. That's the type of situation that makes bold ideas sound possible, even the thought of Floyd versus Crawford.
Go off of that, you know, Floyd is the best fighter, you know, in his era, and I feel like I'm the best fighter in my era.
One thing that I thought was really interesting about the fight, I always love watching you switch stances as effortlessly as you do. You didn't do that a lot in this fight. You didn't have to. Were you expecting not to have to?
No, I felt like I could have, but, you know.
And things could get even more intriguing. Mike Tyson's upcoming exhibition with Mayweather has already drawn big interest, but questions about Tyson's health keep emerging. If anything were to derail that fight, the rumor mill already has its backup storyline prepared. Why not slot Crawford in as the replacement?
Fights, you know, later down in the years, I think Crawford would just be able to break that defense. I don't know. The thing is about Terence Crawford, he has a very, very awkward style, very awkward foot movement and footwork.
Being congratulated, stepping in for Tyson would instantly shift the card from spectacle to super fight. And it's not as far-fetched as it seems. Still, another possible matchup might already be taking shape for next year. Turki Alalshik recently stirred discussion by suggesting a blockbuster clash between Terence Crawford and David Benavidez. The idea spread quickly among boxing fans, especially with Turki hinting such a bout could headline a Riyadh season card. With Crawford fresh off beating Canelo Alvarez, the matchup looked like another chance to put two stars at the sport's top together under the Saudi banner.
Mac, you've been training Crawford for years. Is he retired or is he going to keep fighting?
He just got to take a break.
Is Terence Crawford retired or is he going to keep fighting?
Oh, he's going to keep fighting.
He's going to keep fighting?
Yeah.
You're the man. Be man. Hey, congratulations. Enjoy the win.
But Crawford's trainer, Bomac, quickly shut that down. When asked about the proposed fight, his reply was blunt: "No, we ain't doing that fight." He didn't provide many details but made it clear that facing Benavidez isn't part of Crawford's current plans. From his perspective, Crawford's career path is about staying focused on the right opportunities, not chasing every name suggested.
You ever entertain a fight with Benavidez?
You gotta understand.
I gotta ask you, bro, because I can't, you know?
My thing is, Benavidez is a big dude. Not to say I won't fight him. I fought his brother. His brother was big when I fought him. The only reason why I entertain Canelo is because he's not a big dude. He might be thick, but he's not a big.
Just I'll say this. The crazy part is that he can do better. Big Bud can do better.
On the other side, Benavidez himself dismissed the possibility, pointing out that he has already moved up to light heavyweight at 175 pounds. For him, cutting back down just to fight Crawford makes little sense. Between Bomac's rejection and Benavidez's stance, the potential clash quickly lost traction, leaving Crawford to consider other super middleweight options instead. What do you think happens first? Share your thoughts below and subscribe for more updates.